a horrendous winter. It went on for months and months and months. And this was Pontypool in the Welsh Valleys during those months. And I was so short that I didn't see sunlight for 3 months. All I saw was just white in front of my eyes. It was incredible. But, at the time, my mum was saying, this is stupid, this is ridiculous, the time is not right. You brought me to this place, the winter, it's just horrendous. And in some senses, she had her concerns. But we got through it. We got through it because we were a family and we were together. And in the end, we started to love the snow and going out and doing stuff. And it all just became very normal for us. And maybe as you've thought about the building project, and I've thought long and hard, as you can imagine, about it all, there have been times when I thought, the global crisis, all of this, it just seems to be the wrong timing. But God's time is never wrong. God's time is never wrong. And there might be a few snowstorms ahead, guys. But, the promise is that God goes with us and will be there waiting for us. And we will go as a family because families do that kind of stuff. And we'll be together. And after a while, it will just seem as if that's what we've always been doing. Because that's how it is in families. Families move on because we've got a God who moves us forwards. This is what this psalm really reminds us. That God's people are a pilgrim people. We see that in that verse. Blessed are those whose strength is in you, who have set their hearts on pilgrimage. Let me say this. You can't stand still and move with God. You really can't, either internally or externally. You have to move with the Spirit. And the Spirit is taking us forward as a family. We're becoming a pilgrim people, perhaps in a way we've never been a pilgrim people before over this next year. But God will be with us, and he will see us through. And there will come that time when we will return to this beautiful site that God has provided for us. It will be different, but it will be the same. We will be the same, and we will be together, and God will be there, and God is in it for all of us. Blessed are those who have set their heart on pilgrimage. You can't stand still and follow God. That's what Jesus said to the disciples. He said, come and follow me. Come and follow me. And Jesus says to us all this morning, I want you to follow. I'm setting out a new course. It's built on where we've been in the past. I'm setting out a new course for you into the future. And I want you. You're precious to me. I love you so much. You're part of this amazing family. And we're going to do it together. Because that's what families do. Skipping forward 15 sheets very quickly. When you love someone, you want to be with them. I spent some time with Andrew and Sarah talking about their wedding, and that's just Andrew and Sarah, isn't it? You're still back there? Yeah, he's still back there. He hasn't walked out. When you love someone, you want to be with them. And because we love God, and the psalmist has grasped this, because he loves God, he loves being with God. And he loves being with God's people. In fact, he'd rather be with God's people than he would anywhere else. I wonder if we could honestly say that. I wonder if we've discovered what that's all about. Maybe that's something we're going to discover over this next year when we'll truly be able to come back and say, I love being with God's people. I love being with God. I love being with his people. I love being in his presence. I love worshiping. I love all these things more than anything else. I do other stuff, but this is it for me. This is it for me. And I believe over this next year, we're going to discover God in a new way. And we're going to discover each other in new ways. And God's going to build something into our lives and into the very fabric of who we are as Queen's Road Baptist Church that will propel us into the future that God has for us. We are a pilgrim people. We're on a journey. Inevitably, there may be some hardness about it. There may be some difficulties. There may be some challenges. But, if God cares about the sparrows, he provides a place for them, as Jesus said, then he's going to provide a place for us. We will be safe because we travel with God. And there's no safer thing than that. And even if we go through some difficult places, as inevitably we will, whether we're here or whether we're down there, that's inevitable. God's going to bring blessing in those places. And we will go, if we go in the name of Christ, we will go from strength to strength as we move forwards. Blessed is the man who trusts in you. Guys, that's all we've got to do. That's all we've got to do is trust in God, and God will see us through. Blessed are those whose strength is in you, who have set their hearts on pilgrimage. We're going to sing a song that Marjorie chose for us. To God be the glory. Cake. And the young people and friends.
Going to burst into a spontaneous round of applause then. We've heard about the different, do you want to sit down? That'd be good, just for those last few minutes. We've heard about the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, but it'd be good to hear about the last 10 years. And I think friends downstairs were just giving it a bit of thought, and I think you might have something to share with us. We've just been kind of seeing what memories anybody had, what kind of stories they had, just to remind us of God's faithfulness. So if there's anything you've got to share with us along those lines.
We kind of all thought together and got quite a large list. So me and Chris have got a really big list, but we'll go through some of them. So in recent months and years, we've got mine and Chris's baptisms that were quite important to us. And then obviously Soul Survivor, which has been quite a large part of everyone's faith, I think.
One of the main things that stuck out for me was a few years back, for Uganda, we had to raise money to get them some cows. And say it was £100 to get one cow. I think in Friends we aimed for £100, but we got about 500, 600 quid between us, and that was quite a strong memory of mine. And then on a more light-hearted note, I remember just things like James Rogers fighting with John O'Pick, and me pushing Miriam in mud, and just all sorts of little things. But I think just through the experience we've had with the youth and with the church, I think we've just got to remember that we can't be afraid of change, and that